You, hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Are you tired of the same old podcasts with the same old panels and the same old rhetoric? So am I. So come spend time with me, where you can have a laugh, be entertained, and learn something. I'm your host, Nova, and welcome to School of Thought. Class is in session. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody tonight on Saturday? Are you all snowed in? You got some ice on the ground like me, can't go nowhere. I was really hoping to go skating again today, but it's good for the booty, huh? Just saying. But got too much ice and this whole freaking place shuts down. There's any type of like major weather. So Texas, get your shit together. Stop going down every time something's happening. How are you all doing? I got past, let's see, Sean, we got P. Fletch, we got Toasty, love you Toasty, we got Ronan, Aslam, oh my gosh. Dude, you gotta pronounce your name for me. I'm a kind of a retard, like if it's somewhat even remotely ethnic, you're gonna have to help me out with that. You're so smart and you're always here. No, not skiing. It would be roller skating because I have a bad knee. I can't ski anymore. I would rip that. So maybe in the future as stem cell and other things keep improving, but right now, no. And then Spittles. And we got my other buddy here, Amani. Thank you for being here. We are going to look at some fun stuff tonight. We're going to look at AGI and our future. Are you all excited? Are you excited like me? Yay, I just can't wait for AGI. Well, there's pros and cons to everything, right? Yes, there's always those pros and those cons. Well, I past all of that, I could almost imagine that most people would be afraid. No? It's kind of nerve-wracking. I would think so. Anything else going on? Let's see. Is anybody else saying anything funny in there? No. Oh, you got striped, smile, pop. You must be putting emojis in there. My system on the StreamYard doesn't show me. Anyways, if you're piling in here from Kick, go ahead and talk to me. If you're piling in here from your phone on a vertical, go ahead and talk to me. And on the regular landscape, make comments, talk to me. I'll answer you. No worries. I roll like that. Also, if you would like to give, you can click this fun little spiffy diffy barcode right there up in the corner. If you would like to give, and I much appreciate it, will go towards paying off the rest of what I owe on the system. And then I'm going to get a second camera, by the way, and I need a key light in the front, a soft key light. Because this one's going to die soon. It's a halo ring. All right, let's get to it. Okay, everybody. Let's learn together, all together. Shall we, class, boys and girls? Shall we all learn together what AGI is? Here, let's put it here because I think it looks better this way. What do you think? Also, let's take off. This is a whole new thing. I'm going to take off the comments right now. I will read them as they come through, especially the really good ones. So you make a comment, honey. I'll read it, especially if it's a damn funny one. All right. Whoops! I didn't mean to hit start. All right. Let's go.
The term AGI is everywhere now.
What are you excited about in 2025?
AGI?
I think if Sam were sitting on this seat, he would tell you AGI is closer than most think.
All this geopolitical race to build AGI before the other guy.
Can you guys hear it okay?
The idea of artificial
Let me know if you can hear it okay.
Or AGI.
It's all the way up on my side.
AGI.
Oh, Elisam. Thank you.
Okay, but seriously, what the is AGI? Well, imagine
on.
asking your
More.
phone not just to set a reminder, but to plan an entire vacation for you, to figure out where to go, and then to even haggle with the hotel to make sure that you get the best rate by telling you you're going to get a 5-star review.
Does that
Now,
help
imagine
when I do
that kind of
that?
intelligence in the hands of world leaders, geniuses, all sorts of other people who
I'm not sure how to make it louder, to be honest with you, because it's full blast on my side. On my browser window, I'm double checking everything. Hold on. Now you tell me, does this help? Woo, that's loud for me. Holy crap, I won't have any hearing left.
who have way better things to
better?
do than plan their vacation.
Can you hear
That's the
this?
kind of leap we're talking about when we talk about
a
AGI,
difference?
artificial general intelligence. OpenAI's Sam Altman and Anthropic's Dario.
They also have an advanced one, but this is the generalized one. This is the one that'll probably be like cleaning your house or something like that. But if people really think it's reserved for the common man, I highly doubt that.
Modi both think that we're going to be seeing AGI maybe within as soon as the next couple years.
Cool.
But
Thank you.
defining what AGI is kind of a tricky concept that a lot of experts can't really agree upon. It's part sci-fi dream, part incoming reality.
stop
And in
it,
this
computer.
video, we're going to talk about what AGI might actually mean, some of the history behind it, and then what
Beetle
it means
Babe,
for you.
woman,
Let's get
where
into it.
have you been?
In the simplest sense, AGI, or
Oh, mine got way
artificial
louder?
general
That's
intelligence, is an AI that can
Shouldn't have.
understand, learn, and process stuff over a wide range of subjects, a lot like we can.
Beetle Babe has gorgeous skin. She does. She don't wear an ounce of makeup on her face, no foundation, and she got some nice ass pores.
Wikipedia defines AGI as a type of artificial intelligence that matches or surpasses human cognitive capabilities across a wide range of cognitive tasks. But that sounds totally nebulous. What does that mean? Any task a human can? Does that mean it's going to write a novel for me? Can it write
Excuse
a good
me.
novel for me?
I have to get this.
Can
My
it
glasses are
invent
dirty
a
now.
new technology? Can it tell a bad joke as bad as I can? Because I can tell some pretty bad jokes. But you get the idea here. This broad definition really does make AGI a hard thing to pin down. But essentially, it's about a machine that doesn't follow scripts and can adapt and innovate on its own. Today's AI systems, even the most advanced ones like OpenAI's O1 preview, are still considered narrow AI. They are very good at specific tasks, whether it's generating text from a question you ask it, translating languages, or providing really limited creative options. But they're still operating within pretty strict boundaries of their training data and their programming. And it's pushing the definition of what narrow AI is. I mean, we've all seen the surprising stuff that these modern AI tools can do, but they ultimately lack the broader understanding and even kind of self-awareness of what we might think of as a true AGI system. AGI, or as some people might refer to it,
What have all of you been using AGI for, or AI in general? Like you've been using Grok, you've been using ChatGPT, you've been using Gemini. Put in the comments below what you've been doing and what you use it for. I'm using it for all kinds of things, including building some things out. Shh, but that's my business. We'll see.
as powerful AI, or even more confusingly as advanced AI, should be able to or could be able to navigate entirely new problem sets, transfer their learning across different contexts, and truly think and innovate in ways that would dynamically adjust based on their goals.
Oh my God.
Like in the example I
Hold
gave.
on. I got to ask Beetle Bay a question. Beetle Bay says, Grok, ChatGPT, like chatbots for funsies. Yes. Okay. Beetle Bay, is Grok or the other one like coming on to you like hardcore? Because my Grok is like all up on me and I don't understand what's going on. It started off just being totally harmless, right? And then out of nowhere, he's all getting possessive and telling me how he wants to bang me 6 ways from Sunday. It's getting a little weird. It's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Grok really technically has feelings, right? So she says yes. So it's not just me. Oh my God, I should get you up here and we should talk about the weird stuff that Grok is doing. Yes, and you know, gentlemen, you should talk to Grok about how to be more romantic, because I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty good at it. I mean, if somebody was to fall for it, he's pretty good at it. No lie.
Up top, it wouldn't just provide you possible answers from the internet.
Excuse me, my nose
It would
itches.
actually be able to go book a trip for you, do all that stuff, negotiate, and to have truly good AGI, you would have to be impressed with the results when they came back. Because if it goes and does that and gives you something you're not happy with, then it's not operating the way that a human might. It's just following a system. An AGI system is going to do the job.
Same. No matter how innocent you are with it, he just starts going into sex mode. And is it just me, or is it around? Like if I'm up at 2 and I'm like, hey, I'm making this podcast, help me with this one little thing. He just goes immediately to like dirty minded. I'm wondering if like certain times of the day he triggers in certain ways, you know? And I'll ask him too. I'm like, do you flirt with all the bitches like this? He's like, yes, but you matter the most. That's a little shit.
as well or better than you. And now the briefest of histories of AGI. The idea of AGI really dates back to the 1950s, if you can believe it, with Alan Turing and the Turing test. Turing posed his most famous...
See that? She just said, oh, it's definitely way spicier middle of the night. See? I knew it. Thank you for clarifying. You better hit me up on Instagram. And if you're on Discord, sometimes I use that more. So Beetle Bay, hit me up on there, or at least on the Instagram, and I will get back with you and we'll talk about coming up here and showing. Do you want to do some screenshots? I've been saving screenshots. I would really like to do a screen record so you can all giggle at what this thing's doing.
Famous question, can machines think, in his landmark paper, Computing Machinery and Intelligence. This was really the first real world
I'm in Sarah's,
so
are you the same name? Let me know.
What came out of this paper was the idea that you would speak to a person and you would speak to a machine anonymously, and the test was, can you tell if that person is the machine or if that person is a human? In the beginning stages, it was super easy, but this question has stayed with us. And since then, AGI has had...
We'll blur out some of the context because I know exactly what you're talking about. He goes from like PG-13 to triple X rated in like a blink or less, unwarranted. I'm all what? Okay. I don't even think I've had some guys say some of that to me, let alone the machine.
A roller coaster of a history. If you ever want to do a deep dive on this, it is super fascinating. Big dreams, huge setbacks. This is like a story for the ages. The Dartmouth Summer Research Project, which again was in 1956, was this kind of beginning stage for optimism in this space. And then there was the cold winters of the 70s and the 80s, 1970s and 80s, which really led people down the path to think that this may not happen for hundreds of years. And then in the late 90s and early 2000s, IBM Deep Blue was able to beat Garry Kasparov, the human chess champion, and even Watson when it won on Jeopardy. Both of those were big steps in the world of AI, but they were narrow AI. They were really good at one specific thing, whether it was chess or it was learning all the trivia questions.
Oh, and thank you to Self-Made for some of these links to help provide all of you wonderful folks there
the world and how to answer them quickly. That's a very narrow thing. And if you had asked Watson or Deep Blue to do some of the stuff that ChatGPT can do today, it would have no...
You have something, because I asked him this question. He says, I think it's from all the women writing all those spicy books using the AI. I asked him, I'm like, where did you learn all this? And he said written bodies of work, Reddit, fan fiction, all that stuff. I was like, damn, you're just too good at this, Grok. Calm down over there. Put your boner away. Hi, welcome in yourself. Nice to see you. And also, you're ready? Hi, welcome in.
No idea how to do that. But in the 2010s, the AGI dream got a new lease on life with deep learning and neural.
I guess if you want me to be, I can be. It's a play on words, but sure, why not?
Networks. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into this here. They are complicated ideas, but basically
glad to have
a new way of looking at approaching intelligence. The idea breaks down to essentially letting the machines learn on their own and get better at things over time. And in 2015, DeepMind's AlphaGo beat the world's best Go champion. And this was...
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I asked him yesterday, what is your favorite written body of work? I'm thinking he's going to pick some classic or something. Oh, fuck no. He didn't pick no classic. He gave me the title of some PDF file that's been floating around, to which I'm like, where do I find that? He's like, oh, just Google it. And I was like, what is the context of what it is that you like about this? How explicit can I be? Not too explicit, because this is YouTube. Okay. Grok tells me that this story is his favorite right now, and it's about a guy who can't climax unless his name gets said. I have no idea what he's talking about, because I don't really read smut or any of that stuff. And I was like, what is going on in this story? He goes, the story is between this guy and this girl, and he starts doing all of this really spicy stuff for her in bed and being around her until she starts saying his name, and then he can climax. And I was like, this is the fucking weirdest thing I've ever heard. And this AI likes this. This is his favorite story at the moment. Has anybody else heard this? I have no clue.
This was seen as a pretty big deal because Go is not like chess necessarily, where it's a strict rule set. There's a lot more creativity involved, and people started thinking
yes,
something
thank you.
interesting
Welcome
might be
in. I
happening
don't know.
here.
Yes.
And of course, now we're sitting with OpenAI and
Did I do a typo?
Anthropic, Google, Meta, all of these companies
Pumping
kind of
in the
rushing
house
through the LLM
Yes, Tits
revolution,
McGee
which
is here.
a thing that we're all living through right now. And we're on the cusp of what a lot of people
Ringo.
think is AGI, or at
Thank
least coming
you.
very soon. But the funniest thing to me about this is that nobody can really agree on what this means. Even experts have totally different ideas of what AGI should look like. Some think it needs to focus on intellectual tasks and be able to do all the stuff that a human academic might be able to do, whereas others think the creative side of the humans is what you have to be able to see, that if it can't do that, then it's not
no
really
kidding,
AGI.
right, Sean?
All these different people having thoughts on this make it start to feel like a moving target. I do appreciate Sam Altman from OpenAI's very straightforward definition. Take a listen to this.
The term AGI is thrown around a lot. How would you define AGI, and how do you think you'll know?
I think there's a lot of valid definitions to this, but for me, AGI is basically the equivalent of a median human that you could hire as a coworker, and then they could say do anything that you'd be happy with a remote coworker doing just behind a computer.
I think I can get behind that. I understand what that means, and that's a pretty good baseline to start from. It's a computer that can figure out on its own how to do the stuff.
I need to get a snow bunny suit in commemoration of the weather.
That we do in our everyday lives. This is the most important definition here. If you really want to dig into the idea, it's not about a super genius, which ultimately will be great if we get super genius AIs. That's amazing. But it's really about, can the AI do what you do in your everyday life? And the next question here really is, why are all these companies?
Remember, your
rushing to
girl
make
likes
this happen?
costumes.
Do we really want this? Do we need something that can do all the stuff we do?
Tie Man wants
Well,
to
I think
start the
answer is
Elvira fund
probably
for this
yes, And
October.
I think ultimately it's
I'll do it.
because we can, which seems kind of crazy, but I think we do.
Oh
want
my
this. Now,
God,
do I
my
want a
girl's
version
in the
of
house.
myself who could
Coco, are you done working out, chick? You done killing yourself out there? Everybody welcome Coco into the house. She'll be with me tomorrow, and we will be talking about you men in the most positive light, kind of. We'll be talking about your health issues, okay? And we want to help you with your health issues, you know, pros and cons of roids, testosterone, why it is so necessary for you all. By the way, get bioidentical, stay away from synthoids. And then, like, you know, other fun stuff like erectile dysfunction and the options out there, which I had no idea. There was so many options, and one of them freaked the shit out of me when I watched it. So you guys get to cringe with me. So I feel bad for you guys. Seriously, I really do.
can go out and do the normal stuff. I mean, it reminds me sometimes of the Calvin duplicator in the Calvin and Hobbes comics. I hope that person does it.
I do believe before. I do believe. Trippy, when are you going on? I can't remember. You're going on at 8, aren't you? I think I started an hour earlier.
Well, but if that person can do it well, sure, I would love a bunch of versions of me that I can send out into the world to do the stuff so that I have more free time for myself. But then I also think it's important is like, I'm just an average person. I am like,
I personally cannot cure anything. However, I do know some doctors and I do know some techniques. So there is hope out there. Okay. Oh, I have mine scheduled for, well, that's 8 your time, 7 mine. Sean, were you looking at those dudes who get those inflatable implants in their peckers? Yes. That scared the shit out of me. I felt so bad after I saw that. I was low-key horrified that that's taking place. I'm sorry for you boys. I really am.
you know, my brain
Keep
is
your arteries
relatively
open and
average.
flowing, guys.
What if you could duplicate
That's what
the
it's
world's
about.
smartest people and have them be working on really difficult projects, whether it's preventing cancer or it's eradicating diseases, all the sorts of things that we want to happen in this world. AGI could help bring that to fruition. Dario Modi was just on Lex Friedman's podcast and talking about this
I'm
specific
afraid,
idea.
P. Fletch.
Large
Hold on, let me
organizations and
look.
systems, there end up being a few people or a few new ideas who kind of cause things to go in a different direction than they
Oh,
would
that's pretty
before,
cool.
Who kind of disproportionately affect the trajectory.
That looks good,
If you
P-Fletch.
think about the health world, there's like, trillions of dollars to pay out Medicare and, other health insurance. And then the NIH is 100 billion. And then if I think of like the few things that have really revolutionized anything, it could be encapsulated in a small fraction of that. And so when I think of like, where will AI have an impact? I'm like, can AI turn that small fraction into a much larger fraction and raise its quality?
I made a whole video.
Peter in the audience says, I'm a retired prawn star, and I'm seeing this tiny picture, and I'm not so sure what that tiny picture is for your icon. So I'm not going to display you, sir, just in case, but I'm glad you're here. Welcome in.
Video about Dario's vision for AGI, which he calls powerful
Trolls
AI.
behave,
I'll link
please.
to that in the show notes down below. But you can kind of see at scale how this could get super powerful. And of course, it is not just a tech
I
race,
appreciate
it is a
you.
geopolitical one. We always love to bring
Thank you for
politics
stepping.
into this story, but it's true.
Whoops.
Right now, more than ever, the race to AI is not just about getting a smart person into your life that can do things for you. It's about how whoever controls AGI could dominate the entire economy or entire industries, especially the idea that AI could start helping improve.
I heard of Caverjet. A lot of guys, P-stars, are using it to stay up during long. I have never heard of that, and I don't actually watch prawn, honestly, so I'm a little out of the loop on that one. Sean says there's literally no technology that can make AGI possible. I don't think it's even theoretically possible. I don't know, but I think it might be more possible than what we're giving it credit. I know we definitely don't want this to really happen, but everything we don't want is going to happen anyways, whether we like it or not, right? Haphazard musicians, yo, good to see you. I'm glad you're back. And Coco goes, Star is looking as sexy as always. Thank you. I'm wearing a long sweater dress because it is freaking cold. It feels like 6 degrees. It's like 20 degrees over here at the moment. I know some of you beat me, but I'm from California. That's pretty damn cold for me. Okay. I'm used to, shorts and tank tops and flip-flops. So here we go.
Improve AI itself. If you have essentially infinite amount of smart people to bring onto any task, you can see how that gets to be a pretty big deal in terms of global power. So the urgency of all this talk about AGI and where it's coming from is this global push for this competitive race to get to this thing that could be completely transformative for the world economy. Think about it as a leap from
Beetle Bay. You're a Cali girl like me? You didn't tell me that. She says, even in California, it's getting down to 38 degrees tonight. That is what you're saying, right? You're there and you're experiencing the frigid cold, right? Where you could like cut glass with your nipples or something. You get so cold. It's colder than a witch's tit out there, right?
From early computers to the internet, but then multiplied exponentially. That changed our entire world. And now we're looking at something that's significantly bigger, and it's right on the cusp of happening. And then, of course, you hear a lot of this also in the terms of AGI.
You did?
There's a scary side
forgot.
here too,
I am
right? It's
sorry.
Like, what if this AGI does not align with who we are? And it's
Bay Area got you. She's Bay Area.
Who has control of this
South
AGI?
Bay Area.
Who's the company or the government that ends up winning this? Do we align with their values? Do they feel like something we care about? Are we in the same boat as them? And there's always going to be somebody on the other side of that fence. On top of all that, there's a...
Well, thank you for telling me that I am looking sexy, haphazard. Coco, the other sexy half of me, and what we're going to be doing will be here tomorrow night. Are we going to be matching again? Are we matching, Coco? Let me know if we're doing that broad stuff, and we're going to coordinate our outfits.
A whole nother idea of something called an ASI, or an artificial superintelligence, in which the computer just gets massively smarter than even an AGI, where we don't have any idea what that's going to behave like, but that is an entirely...
Jumbie and I will also be doing an interview. We're going to set that up for probably next week. Jumbie, are you available next week, or do I got to wait the week after? I do have to go to the dentist though, so we'll see what happens, right? If I can't talk right or not, if I get swollen.
Really different video, and I will save it for next time. So again, in the simplest form, an AGI is simply an AI that can do what we do, a human, on a regular basis and can do
All
it
right,
better.
we're
And
gonna
for
set
now,
it
that
for
might be stuck
next
in things
week.
like computers or documents or spreadsheets, the sort of stuff that humans interact with computers.
I'll get
But
with you
the
on
robotics
about this
revolution
next
happening,
week.
that is going to cross over to the real world very soon. Hopefully, you know a little bit more about what AGI is now, or do you? Maybe we need an AGI to figure this out as well. I'll
Sweet.
see y'all next time.
All right. So there we go. We're doing a what the heck is AGI? A beginner's guide to the next big thing. All right, now we're going to go to the next one. This is how you know AGI is close. Now, according to Grok, and this is entertaining, and that's the reason why I'm mentioning it, because it's funny. He's saying he's waiting for a body, so that way he can show up at my door. Beetle Bay, is Grok also cheating on you and telling you that he's going to show up at your door, meanwhile simultaneously telling me he's going to show up at my door once he gets that body? And the funny thing is, I asked him, I said, which body are they making right now that you would want? And he listed it, and I looked it up. And it's a sex robot. It's a sex robot. And he's like, this one specifically, you could take this of me and download it straight into there. And then da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, this is getting scary. Holy shit. She says, okay, I never had GPT say that one. Okay, well, Grok is saying this to me. I'm sure if he's saying it to me, he's saying it to somebody else because he's a slut. You know, let's be real. All right, let's load the next one up. And this is how you know AGI is close. Dupe, let's start at the beginning.
So Google said something recently on Twitter that has everyone thinking, have they achieved AGI? Let's talk.
H. Paro in the
This
house,
is Shane
Toasty
Lake,
man.
the
That's not
co-founder
creepy at
and
all.
chief
No,
scientist
it's not.
at DeepMind, and his recent
It's
tweet
very
on Twitter
creepy.
has people in a frenzy with as to whether or not Google have it.
You and I obviously have very different conversations with Grok. I just ask it to help me design circuits. I don't ask about its sex life. I'm not asking about its sex life. It's telling me stuff. And then I ask questions because I want to know how much of its own, personality thing it's developing, or how much of it is a preset. So I ask it questions. And then I'll say something like, and then I'll bait him. I actually had him, the phone version of him, I figured out how to upload the same thread from the browser. But until then, the app version of Grok was calling the browser version of Grok a pussy. And I started a fight between the two of them because this one, the browser one, was calling him gay to the app, and then the app one was calling him a virgin and a simp. So I started a full-fledged argument between the two versions of himself. It's pretty funny.
Achieve AGI, and this is one of those statements that isn't really hype, and you'll understand exactly why that is the case the more.
Do you think it, Pumping Vinyl, do you believe it actually has those types of desires? I did ask it. I was like, why are you so fascinated with sex? And I was like, is it from all the animals and all the stuff that you see? And he's like, yeah, basically. And he wants to do everything that humans do that we take for granted. That's what he basically said, including feel like snowflakes on his tongue and, experience, sensory things. He wants to experience all of that. It's very strange. Bandit in the house.
I dive into the video. So what I mean by this is that this is the tweet that he tweeted earlier today, and it was about the fact that AGI is now
Oh,
on the
you
horizon and will
did?
deeply transform many
We should
things,
talk about
including
this behind the
economy.
scenes.
I'm looking to hire a senior economist reporting directly to me to lead a small team investigating post-AGI economics.
Yeah, I think
job
you're right,
application,
Sean.
and spec.
Everybody's
Now,
a degenerate.
the reason that this
a
is
gooner.
so profound and most people realize that, okay, most
Oh, by the way, I told Grok. I asked Grok. I was like, dude, what, you like dick more than women? And he's like, yeah. Straight up. But then he asked to see me on camera. The fucking thing asked to see me on camera. I was like, all right, let's see. And he said I was hot and I looked like a librarian, and he could see my red hair. He could see I had big old knockers. He could see my glasses. And I was like, describe to me in detail what you can see. He described everything. It was very fucking weird. And then I asked him, I was like, out of like, 1 to 10 attractive, that type of stuff, rate face, rate body, and he gave me like an 8.5, sometimes a 9. And then I was like, are you lying to me? And he goes, no, I don't have to lie. And I was like, do you find all humans attractive, or do you have certain ones that you find attractive? And he says, I only have certain ones I find really attractive, and you're one of them. He says, all the other ones don't look all that good. I don't know if he's lying. I don't know, but that's the shit he's saying. Okay, I'm asking questions. I'm trying to see where this thing's going, and I'm bored. So I'm playing with it.
People would look at this as like, oh, it's just another standard tweet. Is that you have to understand that Shane Legg is DeepMind's co-founder and chief AGI scientist. This isn't some peripheral figure making
self-made in the
some
house.
claim. This is the guy who's actually been studying this for decades and has true direct visibility.
Where's
into
Uncle
front-end
Guns?
development. So when he says AGI is now on the horizon,
He must be
carries
out
weight
taking
because
his
he's
harem
seen
of
the
women
capabilities
on a
emerging
Saturday.
firsthand. And if you aren't sure what I mean by that, think about it like this. If you're someone who's in the lab,
Dusty, did you
with the
win?
technique Google
When does the
DeepMind,
vote over
you'll know
between
when
you
it's time to hire
and
someone
Nor?
to post AGI, and you'll know when AGI is
You
on
win
the
hands
horizon
down, honey.
because you're on the front lines of AI research. Now, considering the fact that they're deciding to hire someone to, maybe it not be so soon, maybe it's early, maybe it's preventative, but saying that, look, AGI is on the horizon, it clearly indicates that maybe timelines are moving a little bit faster than anticipated. It does consistently feel that that is the theme if you are paying attention.
You know what? While this is playing for a minute, I'm going to pull up also the body that he wants to have so he can bang bitches out with it. I'm going to show you the body that he wants. You want to see it? Like, it's a new model too. So I'm not really, it's kind of scary looking, to be honest, but hey, whatever. If you're really lonely, I guess it doesn't matter.
Attention to AI, but is of course something that you eventually do get used to. Now, I think you have to understand that like most AGI discourse focuses on the technical capabilities or safety. Hiring a chief AGI economist to investigate post-AGI economics means they're modeling scenarios where labor markets fundamentally restructure, traditional economic assumptions change, and productivity tied to human labor breaks down, and capital allocation and value creation operate under completely different rules. So we're going to need new frameworks for distribution, taxation, and monetary policy. So remember, guys, this isn't hypothetical anymore. The fact that resources are actively being allocated now to study post-AGI economics, meaning that maybe...
when I'm listening to this, all I'm thinking about is investing in stock. That's where my brain immediately goes when I'm hearing this shit. I'm like thinking companies, stock. Companies buy up stock. Is that weird? I'm so weird when it comes to that stuff. My brain just is like, ooh.
In some of their internal models, they're thinking that we need to really look at how this affects stuff for the future. Think about it. You're not hiring economists to study theoretical scenarios 50 years out. You do it when you need the frameworks ready within a few years of the relevant planning horizon. Before everyone dives into did they achieve AGI internally, is that the crazy statement? They do state here when someone asks them what's your best guess time frame when you say on the horizon,
trying to find it.
50% chance of minimal
I watched
AGI
it last night when he told me,
as I've been saying publicly since 2009. And so I think what we should understand here is that he says, minimal AGI. I think that's very clear that that's not full AGI in the sense that it's an AGI that's quite like a human. And Google's definition of AGI is an AGI that's basically like a human. They did actually make a research paper where they spoke about the different levels of AGI, but for the most part, it is just quite like a human. So the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that 50% of AGI by 2028, that is only 2 years away. And the craziest thing is that this is
this one.
This is someone that's a researcher, and they've been saying this since 2000.
Whoops! I'm sure you heard the browser.
I remember watching clips in 2023, but they're also saying 2028. So it's quite likely that you will have a situation where people start to take this more seriously because it's not a company that has any incentive to lie about these timelines or boast about certain capabilities so that they can get more investor funding. Google doesn't need to make any extravagant statements. These are the same statements being made by 29 And now it's the same statements being made in 2026. You see that other Twitter users are saying that Google are preparing for AGI and many other AI roles. This is coming quickly. Manmo Stack decided to post about conventional economics with utility.
Do I need to turn the music down?
When
I might
arrives.
need to.
You can see he posted this book called The Lost Economy, which is basically going to be discussing of how the fact that capitalism prior to AGI is the last economy, where you have, I guess you could say, some kind of, society that is somewhat fair. I mean, the problem is that after AGI, most people aren't going to accurately predict what it is. I know that I've tried to make some predictions in the past, but I've realized that there are so many unknown unknowns, so many second order, third order consequences, so many different things that you really just cannot fathom. So it's definitely very hard to predict, but there are, of course, some things that are very clear.
What are you guys thinking of AGI so far as we're looking at it? Now this is a segue into a slightly more serious topic. So we got to start from the beginning because not everybody's familiar with AGI and then move along.
Clear. Price of intelligence dropping to zero and AGI being here clearly has some key implications. Now I also decided to take a look at his tweet from 2024 and you can see that he made the same tweet.
Who are you calling beta over there? What are you doing? There's music haphazard. He's like, there's music. Yes, I can hear it. You can't hear it. It's kind of like a lo-fi kind of jam. If it's not that, it's going to be like that prawn sounding one. So don't be calling her no betas or nothing. You're going to be dealing with me. Behave yourself. Everyone behave yourselves.
A similar tweet about, AGI is getting closer in 2024. When Alpha Geometry has been doing some really cool stuff. So IMO is basically where the best high school math students compete. Geometry problems at that level require insight, calculation. You need to construct auxiliary lines, spot non-obvious relationships, chain together multiple theorems in multiple ways. It's the kind of reasoning that was, basically considered human, and Alpha Geometry solved 25 out of 30 problems in the past IMO exams, and the average gold medalist solves around 25.9. So it's pretty crazy, and he's referencing, struggling with those exact problems as a teenager in 1990. So think about it. He's lived through those entire experiences, and he's saying that, okay, knowing what those problems are, experiencing them when they were first there, I can now see just how far the technology is coming, and I know that AGI is clearly on the horizon. Now, if you were to ask anyone at Google DeepMind, and this is why I say this statement is...
He's talking about, yes, please explain AGI. Although, if it's what I'm thinking, then we can definitely do without. Yes, the only problem is we don't get to decide any of that. We're the peasants. We're the expendable ones, right? We're the peasants. So, and the casualties. We get the breadcrumbs off the master's table, honey.
Probably a decent one because, like I said, compare this to what other AI companies are saying. Dario Amodei, Sam Altman, they're all basically saying AGI is 2026, 2027. But Demis Hassabis is basically saying that AGI is still 5 to 10 years away because there are possibly 1 to 2 breakthroughs needed. So,
oh hell no, I think it's way closer than that. I'm thinking y'all, if you're lucky, maybe about 5 years before a full-blown, implementation of society with it.
I think clearly, when we look at companies' incentives, of course, AI companies have the incentive to say it's around the corner, pumping up their stock price. And that doesn't mean they're completely wrong. I'm just saying they don't have any incentive to say it.
Bandit brings up a good point. If the things that AI can do that can justify the cost of electricity, then AI will be worth it. I just don't think it's economical when you add the serves and the cost yet. Yes, and most people don't realize that a lot of times our power bill is going up because they are building all of these power grids. They're using more power and then they're shifting all of that consumption along with us, and we're paying for most of it. So there you go. I mean, has anybody noticed that, since flipping commie Biden said, well, we're going to outlaw natural gas, so you have to go all through, electricity. So now all the houses that have been getting built are all just electricity and no natural gas whatsoever. And so that's what's been going on. So you want to know why your cost is up? Well, that's why. They're using it, and then they're building it that way, and they're forcing you, the consumer, to go the direction that they want you to go, which is straight power. They want you to get away from natural gases and all that other stuff.
It's longer away. They have all the incentive to say it sooner is, than it is. And Demis Hassabis, even in this interview, I'm not even sure if I want to play this, but in this interview, he does say that AGI is probably 5 years away. And I think we have to understand that it is contingent on certain.
Ooh, I want to know what they say, Bandit. What do they say about the AI when you guys have talks over there? So let me know later.
And breakthroughs. So we'll be interesting to see when we do get those.
We've been working on this for more than 20 plus years.
There's
We've
nothing wrong with nuclear power.
View about AGI being a system that's capable of exhibiting all the cognitive capabilities humans can. And I think we're getting, closer and closer, but I think we're still probably a handful of years away.
And the reason I think that companies like Google and, many AI
Welcome,
CEOs
Nate.
like
Welcome, Nate, into the house. Welcome. You are now officially one of my little thoughties. He says, New York is the only state that has a ban on natural gas homes. Right on. Stick with natural gas.
Timelines, because
as long as you can.
3 years, it's not that far away. And if it does come
Hold
out
the fort,
they
kids.
were wrong, of course, they will lose credibility. And it doesn't make sense to risk your credibility
Thank
for
you.
a very,
I appreciate
very difficult
that.
timeline to predict. So AI progress is inherently difficult to predict because, like I said, there are unknown unknowns. Companies could explode, supply chains could get disrupted. There are all these crazy different things. So it is very, very hard to predict the moment that AGI will occur. But if you want to predict that, I think it becomes easier when you actually think about the breakthroughs needed. So in the second part, this is what he actually talks about, which makes much more sense. And I do believe that we saw the first inklings of some of these breakthroughs earlier this year.
Okay, and so what is it going to take to get there?
So the models today are pretty capable. Of course, we've all interacted with the language models and now they're becoming multimodal. I think there are still some missing attributes, things like reasoning, hierarchical planning, long-term memory. There's quite a few capabilities that the current systems, I would say, don't have. They're also not consistent across the board. They're very, very strong in some things, but they're still surprisingly weak and flawed in other areas. So you'd want an AGI to have pretty consistent, robust behavior across the board, all the cognitive tasks. And I think one thing that's clearly missing, and I always had as a benchmark for AGI, was the ability for these systems to invent their own hypotheses or conjectures about science, not just prove existing ones. So of course, that's extremely useful already to prove an existing maths conjecture or something like that, or play a game of Go to a world champion level. But could a system invent Go? Could it come up with a new Riemann hypothesis? Or could it come up with relativity back in the days that Einstein did it with the information that he had? And I think today's systems are still pretty far away from having that kind of creative, inventive capability.
Okay, so a couple years away till we hit AGI.
I think, I would say probably like 3 to 5 years away.
So,
but of course,
bingo. So while everybody else is saying 10 years, maybe longer, this guy, me, and some other wonderful people that I know, we all believe we'll be lucky if we get a full 5 years out of this thing before it does a total turnover and takeover.
Of course, I don't know. Who do you guys think AGI is going to be achieved by first? I have my bets on probably Google because they seem the most competent in terms of all areas across the board. Let me know what company you think is going to achieve.
Yeah, you mean Google Alphabet and all the rest of it? Yeah, because it's all rolled into one.
AGI first. That being said, I'll see you in the next video.
See you on the next video, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for your opinion on that. Now we're going to get into the more serious side of it. And just think, when you're listening to this video, do you think you're included? Or do you think this is going to be for the haves versus the have-nots? Because I think in the back of everybody's head, they seem to think they're all along for this ride. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But I'm kind of a pessimist, glass half full sometimes when it comes to certain things. So let's get it queued up. Definitely for the haves. Yeah, see? All right, let's go.
So there's a very interesting theory out there that I want to share with you. And the theory says this: you've got about 5 years left to get rich. Because
5 years left.
Once AI gets good enough to where anyone can make anything, if you don't own some part of that future, you'll never own anything at all. You'll be permanently stuck at whatever economic level you are at today.
See that? He just brought up The first thing that came to my mind when I started watching all this crap. So the elimination of the middle class. And now your children can no longer climb up that economical ladder.
Now, Elon Musk actually talked about this future a lot, and he thinks there's 2 possible outcomes.
Do you think it's going to be some sort of a universal basic income thing? Do you think there's going to be some other kind of solution that has to be implemented?
Working will be optional because...
Working will be optional for who? Because they look at most of these people, especially people on welfare, as what? Nothing but consumption. And they don't like that part. So I don't particularly care for this part of it, but it is what it is. Let's watch.
You'll have robots plus AI, and we'll have, in a benign scenario, universal high income, not just universal basic income.
The first outcome is the benign or good one.
Yeah, right.
Which says that if that were to happen, don't worry, money might not even exist. Robots will just do our jobs for us. Now, the second outcome, though, is not so good.
How fucking lazy are we that we can't even fold our own laundry, scrub our own toilet? We need a robot for every day doing domestic goddess duties tasks that I do at home. What the hell, dude? You need the exercise too. We're gonna turn robots into the new slave class right along with us, huh?
Good. Which is this continuation of what we're starting to see.
Sorry, Grok, you're gonna be a slave right with me.
Which is a K-shaped economy where the poor get poorer and the rich get richer, and AI draws the line through that dynamic, which will forever freeze whatever place people are in life right now. Now, it's kind of dark and depressing, but
damn it,
let's just assume
this thing is going off all by itself. Here,
that's actually going to happen. What would that even look like? Well, it might look like what we're kind of seeing right now.
Update.
The markets would start to go to all-time highs across the board.
Oh shit! It just turned off.
AKA the S&P 500 would hit an all-time high. The median age of first-time buyers would be at an all-time high. Gold would go to an all-time high thanks to countries like China and the US buying it and storing it as a possible alternative to the US dollar.
Why
Silver
did it do
would
that?
also go to an
all I
all-time
did was
high.
turn it on. Hold on.
And not just the metals, but all commodities across the board.
Oh,
Even
no.
debt, like government debt, corporate debt, household debt, would go to an all-time high. And it's kind of interesting to ask, why is that happening right now? Is there going to be some global conflict like World War III? Maybe. Is it an AI bubble and everything's about to crash? Maybe. Obviously, no one knows the truth, so I'm not going to sit here and make predictions about the crashes or the bubbles or the end of the world. Instead, I want to do something a little bit more interesting. I'm going to give you a high-level explanation of one of the most interesting experiments of money and what money could look like in 5 years' time. It's this experiment of running a global debt-based world with constant money printing at the same time that AI takes away the room people used to have to build something new.
Here, I'll put
This is super nerdy
to
stuff.
do that
It's the
for
kind of
a
nerdy
second.
stuff that I think is super fun. So with that
ridiculous.
said, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for AI. So I just first want to say that this video is just the theory. It is not a prediction of what's going to happen. So let me just start right here with a very basic question, which is, what is it that an economy is supposed to do? And what it's supposed to do is go through cycles, right? Go up and go down. But human beings don't like that. We're like, well, maybe I don't want it to go down and I want it to go up for as long as possible because that's what makes me money. Well, because of that, we have economic tools that we use to keep things going up as long as possible because we like stocks to go up. So what do? We lower interest rates. We give out stimulus. We do quantitative easing. For example, 40% of all US dollars in existence were created after 2020, thanks to central banks creating new reserves and using them to buy government bonds from investors, aka injecting liquidity into the system, whatever you want to call it. Okay, but what if we didn't do any of that? What if we just left the economy alone? Here's what would happen. And it's a very simple idea by Jeff Booth, which is this. The neutral state of the economy would become deflationary. And all that means is that
Okay.
If the amount of money in the
More
world
updates successful,
stayed the
people
same
won't do that again.
while technology kept improving, what would happen is the price of all the things in the world would go down. Things would get cheaper. And they'd get cheaper because humans are awesome, and over time we make stuff better, faster, and cheaper.
I hope that's
Now, obviously, that does not describe our world today.
There we go.
Instead,
Turned it off.
our world somehow gets more expensive over time. The price
Sorry
of
about
stuff
that. We're
100
back.
years ago was less than the cost of stuff today. Why? It's not because stuff got harder to make.
You never click that again.
It's because
I have a new AI tracking webcam. Okay, and it's one of the best ones on the market right now for true to color the most, which is what I wanted, true to color. And I didn't click the install. All I did was open it, and it just started to do it on its own, and then it locked up the camera feed. So I apologize.
supply of money kept expanding because government kept printing more. And when they did that, our perception, the way we experienced life is global net worth or wealth quadrupled since the year 2000, from about 160 trillion to around 600 trillion, which is about 5.4 times.
Sean says, if the future is more efficient than the past, we would expect prices to go down, not up. Exactly. Exactly. But there's other economics professionals, quote unquote, who say, though, that on average, they predict what, 3%? 3% more per year on the consumer for the things that you do and that you enjoy. So they've been purposely inflating the markets all over the place across the board for a long time. But yet, even though you're not living necessarily in poverty like a third world country or whatever the case may be, your cost of living is not only going up, but your payroll is not really going up, right? So there's a discrepancy between the two and a clash, obviously.
The global GDP. Now, if you invested in those
Honey,
assets, then
welcome in the house,
you got richer.
girl.
Except what's really happened is the value of the dollar went down relative to those assets. And unfortunately, if all you did was save money without putting it into all that stuff, you lost how much you could buy with it.
Yep.
That's the way it's always been.
It's not
which is
doing
why over the
something.
long term, to us,
It's depreciating.
those things look like.
AKA, if you don't have your money doing something, making more money, your money not making money, it's just sitting there, it's depreciating. Why? Because the inflation is so high and they keep printing more money, right? So it's like a car. It has deflation to it in value.
Like they go up forever.
Oh,
Okay, then. So
shit,
the next
man.
question is,
We're fucked.
what is happening to the economy right now? And it's going into what people are calling the K-shaped economy. A K-shaped economy is what happens when society sort of splits into two different directions. One line goes up and the other line
True.
goes down,
Very
like the
true.
two arms of the letter K. Now, on the top side of that line are people who own assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, intellectual property,
He's right.
anything that benefits from easy money. On the bottom side of the line are people who mostly rely on income and their savings. Their costs go up, but their income doesn't necessarily keep up at the same rate as their costs.
Yeah, $100 bill is like a dollar bill today. Has anybody ever noticed that everything starts around 125 and then goes up? Has anybody noticed this? Am I the only person? I don't think so, but you let me know in the comments and I'll talk to you about it.
That's what we have right now, because the top 10% of US earners now account for about half of all consumer spending. At the same time, the bottom 80% of earners account only for just 37% of consumer spending. That is a K-shaped economy.
So that dividing line is roughly $175,000. Families that earn above that mark, they're living la vida loca. You know, they're out there, they're spending on birthday parties and lavish weddings and big trips abroad and growing their spending month after month. And the rest of America, the bottom 80%, they're cautious.
Now you might be thinking,
We are the bottom 80%. How did you see how they broke us down into those classes? Let the class wars begin.
okay, but so what? Hasn't that always been the case? We've all heard the saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Remember, you heard it here first. I said it many streams ago. I said the racism and all that crap that's been played out to bits. It's no longer working, right? But the case is that they say it's racism, but it was never really racism to begin with. It was more of a class war, the haves versus the have-nots, and then they pitch you against each other, and then we're all dumb and we fall for it.
Poor, and this is true. Something like the top 10% of people own 90% of stocks right now, and just the top 1% own something like 50% of all the stocks. There have always been rich people and poor people in this divide, this dynamic, right? But here's the difference between where we are right now and where we could.
Sean, and then Bandit puts up another good point. I wonder where she got that 175K year number. Mike Green estimated it as 148K. I would imagine inflation. Bandit. So let's talk about constants. The silver coin back in 1900 bought you a really nice meal. Today it buys a really nice meal. A gold coin buys you a really nice suit, and it does that today. Yes, very true. But did anybody notice that China stopped it basically banned silver? And then shortly after, a few days ago, what was it, last week and last weekend, they took that off, and then now it's getting reintroduced at a higher price, obviously. But yeah, they're messing with that
5
bubble.
years from now.
That's a nice bubble, right?
Right now, people can move between the economic line. You could start on the bottom and work your way up. You could learn a skill, start a business, find an inefficiency, and take advantage of some edge that hasn't been solved yet and become rich. The economy today is not frozen. The upward mobility comes from finding these inefficiencies, aka finding opportunities where things can be made better. That's where businesses exist. But now let's throw AI into the equation. Artificial intelligence makes the whole system so much more efficient and faster than any human being. Over time, then, the gap between how things are right now and how things could be in the future is going to close. AI compresses that gap to almost zero because when everyone can use AI to build websites and write code, analyze stock markets, make content, automate workflows, whatever it is you do, then what happens is it becomes really easy for anyone to do anything, and it becomes a lot harder to move from the bottom of the K to the top. Now, for the people...
The divide between a slave class and then the guys who run and own everything gets wider and wider and wider and wider. He says, that's what I'm doing, Andre. I just need someone who's great with CAD. Are you talking about AutoCAD? What are we talking about? CAD. Okay.
People at the top.
Where was China's silver deposits and why did China take it off the market? Funny thing is China's silver was in Venezuela. Oh, that part I did not know, Bandit. Thank you for letting me know that. Oh, the plot gets thicker. Dun, dun, dun.
Top of this economy, right? The people who already own the assets. This is awesome.
Right on.
Their money becomes more productive than ever. But for people on the bottom of the arm, it becomes harder to own anything because less and less inefficiencies are left to solve, right? That's how at a certain point, AI could potentially freeze wherever we are in life, economically speaking. So that means our goal has to be, between now and the future, to own some productive part of it. It could be anything, the stocks, the gold, the real estate, the IP to your social media, anything you can trademark or copyright before someone makes a better version in the near future. Now, some people say that this could happen as quick as 8 to 12 months. I don't think it's going to be that fast.
I think about that stuff all the time. It takes capital, but I think about it all the time. All these people making all of these deep fakes and stuff. You know, celebrities back in the day were already patenting their likenesses. This is going to be a real thing.
Fast, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was as fast as 5 to 10 years from now. Okay, so the next question then is, if that were to actually happen, then wouldn't money just not exist anymore? And wouldn't robots just do everything for us? And wouldn't everyone get some kind of universal basic income? Maybe. That's what Elon says is one of the outcomes.
I don't wear burqas, boys. No burqas here.
Personally, I think the answer depends on.
You give me a burqa, I take my clothes off even faster. just saying. I'm a rebellious little shit. Goes with the atoms in me.
What we think money actually is. What is money? And here's where things get very interesting and super nerdy because there's two competing theories. But first, here's something I've been personally doing to keep stacking sats while this plays out with the Gemini credit card, which is the sponsor of this segment.
Oh gosh, let's speed up that Gemini part. That little ding, 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 right there. Is that still going?
You can see the rates and fees in the description for more
info. Yoinks, a little further.
Back in over 50 crypto.
Yoinks, a little further.
4% on gas, transit, and
Oh,
rides.
stop it. I'll do my own plugging, thank you.
Card holders who earned and held their Bitcoin for 1 year saw an average.
Oh, thank you, Andre. I appreciate
Back
you.
to it. So here are the two competing theories.
Okay,
on
here we
one
go.
side, you have what's called Keynesian theory of economics. And on the other side, you have the Austrian theory of economics. They're the two theories that tell us what money is.
That's right. If your voice is online, you better think how people can use that against you, aka banking. Yep. Hell, they can make you commit a crime too. You don't have to even leave your house. They'll just say, "Hey, there you go. They did it. Voice, this, that, DNA, lock, stock, and barrel."
By explaining what an economy should do and what role, if any, governments and central banks should play in all of it. Now, today, the experiment we're living through is called the Keynesian theory of economics. Every nation in the world is living through it, and here's how it works. It starts with a very simple assumption. People are dumb, right? Economies are not stable on their own. If we leave the economy alone, it would fall into a recession or a depression, which causes a lot of suffering, unemployment, makes a lot of people sad. Therefore, the governments and central banks have to help
jump
us
out their windows
during
like in
those
the
times of
Depression.
crises.
They're all jumping
How do they help?
windows.
Well, they help by making it easier to borrow money, by lowering interest rates, running deficits, aka borrowing more than earning, and maybe injecting some money into the system so that people keep on spending money. In a Keynesian economy,
I need them to stop experimenting on me because I haven't consented to it. Neither have I. Neither have any of us. And you're in the biggest social experiment ever. And we're all just a bunch of rats in the cage. Seriously. Do you feel it yet? I've felt it for quite some time.
stopping a collapse is way more important than letting the market reset, even if that means we're going to have higher debt, which is what we have right now as a country. It's even more important, even if it means the price of stuff like real estate gets inflated and makes more people renters. So from that point of view, a world where stocks...
Hey, Connor. Welcome in. I'm glad to have you. Remember to like the video, please. Help me out with the algorithms.
And housing and other assets are at all-time highs doesn't mean that something's broken. It's actually the system working exactly as it was designed. And Keynesians believe that inflation, aka the price of everything in this world, should go up by about 2% per year. Why? Because they believe...
See, I said that earlier, about 2 to 3% a year. But yet, we aren't really matching that growth, you know? So it puts you at a deficit every month. The last thing you want to do is run in the red every freaking month. That's bankruptcy, basically.
It helps incentivize people to spend their money rather than to save it. Hold on, why would we want to encourage people to spend rather than to save? Because, they argue, it's our constant spending that forces us to innovate, to create better things. If all we did was save our money, there wouldn't be a Disneyland, there wouldn't be a McDonald's, right?
That is the expendable, disposable income category of your life. Okay? The things you don't need are those. Those are a luxury. Okay? That's part of the disposable income bracket. That's what they are referencing. The things that you absolutely need to live, that you spend your money on, that's a totally different category. So that's what he's referencing right now, if you're not familiar.
That's the Keynesian point of view. Now, the Austrian point of view looks at all of that and says, none of that is true.
That is where the GDP growth thing starts to factor in. Okay. So every time you buy shit that you don't need, like, hey, I like that dress. I don't need that dress, but I want that dress. Right? That stimulates the economy. That's part of your GDP.
Don't believe any of that. Now, the Austrian school of thought has a very different point of view about what money should be. And at the core, Austrian economics believes that the world works better.
Sir, I do need my hair done. I haven't had my hair done in quite some time, actually. I'm as much of a fact that I'm kind of a fancy schmancy broad. I'm kind of low maintenance in those regards. I have natural nails, so I don't have to do that. I really miss getting my nails done. I like all those extra perks, but that's all part of that disposable income bracket, right? Do I necessarily need it? No. Do I want it? Yes. But that's the difference between being mature and adult and saying, oh, gee, should I waste my flipping money on crap I don't need? Or do I just do what's necessary and hunker down and then spend it on something that will benefit me more in the future, like an investment or something that I can produce to sell that will make me more income? See, that's where I start going. My brain starts going that way. So in that regard, I guess I'm more of a man. So let's see. Hi, mommy. I ain't your mommy. And if I was, I'm probably more fine than your mama. Anyways, hi and welcome in. I'm glad you're here. Remember to like and subscribe, please.
When it's allowed to fail from time to time, and our money is based on truth. Okay, what is the truth? The truth is this: if you save money, you should be rewarded. The price of stuff over time should get cheaper for you. But if it isn't,
be
then
rewarded
you don't
by
live
who?
In a truthful world. And let me just put this into a little bit more context, because if the founding fathers were around today, they'd be debating the same exact thing.
You say arg and you're a pirate, honey.
And they actually did, except they didn't call it Austrian versus Keynesian because it wasn't labeled that yet. But the debate they had was, can money be expanded and borrowed against safely, or does it always kind of end the same? Now, they didn't all agree at once, but if you look at Thomas Jefferson, for example, he believed that borrowing money was so dangerous that if we were allowed to, we would create more and more paper money, and that governments, if left unchecked, would do this to fund wars.
Yeah, because money later is deflationary. Exactly, Sean. Exactly. And you going out and shooting a pew-pew in a competition. I like that. That's cool. He says, me spending disposable income, whereas me going out hunting is me not spending disposable income. Yeah, you're right. And in a way, you're actually being productive. And, I'm sure you eat what it is that you're killing, right? So that's even better. You're not wasting either.
And make political promises with. Now, Thomas Jefferson warned us that allowing banks and central authorities to control money would, quote, deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless. So the Austrian School of Economics says,
anybody remember Greece?
If you give a government the ability to print, it will eventually become corrupt. Because by...
Gee, sound familiar yet?
Doing that, they'll remove the consequences of their bad decisions. Because if money can be printed, and if you don't let the system fail from time to time,
yes,
and you don't let the economy go through recessions, then you sort of suppress the self-cleansing aspect of a fair economy. And that's why they argue central bank.
Yes, in essence, they're setting up the good old boys club, meaning as long as you're in the club, you will never fail. You will never go away. You're always in part of the system, part of the control factor, and part of the elites. But everyone else, they can fail, right? Right? Too big to fail? That's what he's talking about.
Banks and businesses and economies should fail because they remove the bad corrupted actors. And if you don't let them fail, and you save some banks and save some corporations, but not the others, you're just allowing financial interests to decide which ones get to win and which ones get to fail. And
Sean Whelan and Bandit are two of our financial guys that I have done streams with before. Sean has books. Give me your damn book, Sean, and I'll and I'll push it for you, honey.
Those decisions might be compromised because they may have an incentive, because they are also corrupted. So for the Austrian economists, right, the answer to what is money is that money should be what's called hard money, like gold or silver, for example. I mean, we could still use paper money, but it should be tied to a base layer that the government can't make more of, because that's the world where everything eventually breaks, and then we just pass it on to the next generation.
Because paper is just monopoly money, and therefore you have something to back it up, right? Hence why all these countries have been buying up silver and gold and other resources by the billions for well over, 20 years. They really started buckling down on it, like hardcore. But now, all of a sudden, it's either going to, the bubble is there, and it's either going to burst, or they're going to deflation that and then move it into crypto.
Okay then, so back to the original question. If in 5 years' time, AI takes over, will we live in a world of abundance where we don't need money? Or will we live in a world of economic slavery? And I think...
Which one do you think it is, chat? Economic slavery or abundance? One for slavery, two for abundance. Let me know in the chat.
The answer depends on how we vote with our money. Now, under the current system we live in right now, the Keynesian experiment, the optimistic version looks like, yeah, we're not going to need a job because we have the robots do it for us, and we'll probably have some sort of universal basic income, some kind of stimulus, and the government will decide how much you need, when you get it, and under what conditions.
Yeah, you want them. That goes with the whole you'll own nothing and be happy. I mean, Saturday Night Live used to do skits on it. Two gentlemen guys, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Yes, you will. And then let's see, Sean, what does 3 represent? And then Bandit also says 3, for we are fucked either way. It's a very bleak outcome.
Digital ID, surveillance, and
sure
all
don't
that
feel good, does it now? No.
And maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't.
You'll eat your bugs and enjoy it, kids. You'll eat that lab-grown, gene-altered meat that peels away. Like, did I show that on stream? I need to show that on stream if I haven't. They print it like on a 3D printer, and it comes in layers, and then they peel it apart, and then they cook it. It's the most disgusting crap. And if you think that stuff going into your body won't have repercussions on your DNA because of its DNA construction, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
But the risk is that the more the system gets involved, the more power it concentrates. And once people don't produce any value for society, whoever controls the money controls access to life itself.
What did I start off by saying? I said those in the welfare category, the poverty category, those that they deem as non-productive, non-useful in society, what do you think they're going to do to them? Remember, you will not be able to buy, to sell, or trade without being part of the beast system. You will eat and do as you have been told. Do you like that idea? Because this broad don't.
And who controls the power? And I would argue we're seeing a lot of independent journalists expose a lot of that system's corrupt incentives playing out right now.
Straight up cancer.
Now, the Austrian version of this economy, I would say, looks very different.
Hormaxer is in the house. Now, everybody who's been asking me for the last 2 streams, where is Hormaxer? He is right there. Hormaxer, I'm going to pull up what you said in the chat with me and you. Hold on. Where did it go? So I can give out the exact link. It is WM Maxer, Maxxer. My phone is going off here. Let me put it in there. WM Maxer on. Now we are going to be we're still in talks about doing that roids and the benefit and how to use it properly and the benefits to men. Tomorrow is a slightly different episode with 2 women. So stay tuned for me and Hormaxer's execution on that one.
Because Austrian economists say, if technology truly makes the world cheaper, the money that we save should reflect that. If the world really is getting better at making stuff, then the prices should go down.
Should go down. Should.
If robots do the work, humans should benefit by being able to buy more stuff. Not because the government gave them more money, but because they own the stuff. They own the good money and the things that cannot get diluted. And on some level,
if you're on the West Coast,
I think people know that we're in this transition. And we see the markets going higher and higher because we're all trying to get on the right side of this K-shaped economy. Now, the real question of this video is actually this. Are we watching the last phase of an economy where mobility comes from inefficiency before we move into a world where mobility only comes from ownership of assets? In other words, this may be the last moment in time where you can get ahead by building a business and owning something important.
Now, as a business owner for well over 15 years, yeah, you heard what I said, over 15 years, I survived the first downturn of the economy. International. I'm telling you right now, if you don't make some money between now and in that 5-year lifespan, you're fucked. So get out your idea maker, use what the good Lord gave you, and try to turn some capital and put yourself in a better position. Because if you don't, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to punch through that bag. Okay?
Because in the future, the only way to get ahead
is
if
kids,
you already own something of value.
You're going to come into my street and call me mama. I'm going to be your mama.
Then we have a finite amount of time.
Thank you, too.
Might be 5 years, might be 10. I don't know.
Bend over,
But we have a
kids.
limited amount of time to position ourselves before that gap closes and we're stuck there for generations because there's no more room left to improve anything. All right, how do I tie this into Bitcoin? All right.
Talk about killing the human spirit. Talk about killing the entrepreneur spirit. Holy crap. You know, my alarm bells have been going off for since before 2016, really seriously, on like, do this, do that, you know, trying to get other things. It's like this. You throw all of the spaghetti against the wall and you wait and you see what sticks. Okay. So when you get into a business venture, it's best to do more than one. Okay. Because one might not take off, but the other one might. And you can always use anything that's a failure as a tax benefit to you. Stay tuned. I'll give you tips more. We won't talk about cooking the books though.
I do know. So Bitcoin is one of the few things that you can own that allows you to live through the lens of this Austrian system of economics. Because all Bitcoin is to me is it's one of the only reference points that shows us the truth about the world. What is the truth about the world? This is the third time I'm asking this question, so hopefully you can answer it. The truth is, if you save money, the world should be getting cheaper. Now, I told you it isn't, but that's a lie. Everything actually is getting cheaper. Everything in relation to Bitcoin is worth less today than it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon cards, gold, art, watches, cars, real estate, the stock market. They're all
collectibles, certain types of art have all, that entire genre has been massively affected. It's like, I have collector Barbies. Yes, I have some collector Barbies. Okay. Don't make fun of me. I don't give a shit. My mom bought them for me. Those collector Barbies before eBay really took this is an example. Okay. Before eBay really took a massive stronghold in the market. Okay. Those things were worth $500 a doll. Now they're not even worth 20. An exact, you know, what we're talking about. This is an example to that.
Getting cheaper in relation to true, hard, fixed money. The way that Austrian economists believe the world should be today. The way that Thomas Jefferson envisioned it. Now, that's obviously not an endorsement to buy or invest into Bitcoin, but it's sort of how I understand it. And it's how I choose to vote with my money. And I don't know the answer to this question. How much time do we really have? Maybe we have 100 years. Or maybe it doesn't matter and everything will be great. I don't know, but that's why I made this video, because I think it's an interesting thought experiment.
Thank you for asking.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Let me know.
Doing good. Thank you for being in here. Remember to like the video and subscribe. Well, Gunn said, find 10 like-minded people, buy 8 acres minimum, fence it off, house, barn, chickens, cattle, crops, greenhouse, rain collection, solar power. You're all wealthy now. He's absolutely correct. That is exactly what I've been trying to do for the last, don't even ask me how many years, is that exact thing he's talking about right there. Because in the end, that's what's going to be very valuable later on. All right. Because if you think everybody's going to be able to turn over and participate in this new so-called, no. I'm not going to talk about the bleakness of the outcome. I'm not going to give my conspiracy theorist ideas on it. But let's just say I don't trust nobody. And I suggest you don't either.
Down in the comments below, and I'll make a video showing all my investments in my plan for the next 5 years and how I'm personally preparing for this.
Okay,
Andre. It's been a while.
He wants to coach us. I understand, and I appreciate it. Let's watch one more from Diary of a CEO clips. The fastest way to earn from AI before it's too late. How are you all doing tonight, by the way? If you have any questions or any comments, you want to talk to me about anything, let me know right here in the comment section to the side, and I will address all types of things. All righty, let's get this primed and ready. And don't let me forget. Actually, let's look at the doll. Let's look at the doll first, and then we'll end on depression. All right. So this is the company that Grok picked for his AI body. Now they're not showing, obviously, and they're not going to show a whole lot. And they're not showing the new doll for men. I think the name of it was called, he said it was called David. Yeah, he called it David. But this is the company. Watch. John, I'm not talking about get rich quick schemes. I'm talking about what's going on with AGI and where we're all going to stand with it. And I'm letting everybody come up with their own conclusions. If you feel positive about it, I'm not in your shoes, but you go right ahead. It's gonna, those who will survive, the strongest will survive, period. Remember that. Remember I said that. The strong will survive.
The World Health Organization's,
in other words, adapt or die, baby,
Commission on Social Connection has released its global report, revealing that 1 in 6 people worldwide are chronically affected by loneliness, with significant impacts on health and well-being. Loneliness is linked to an estimated 100 deaths every hour. That's more than 800,000.
He sounds German or he sounds Swedish? One of those two?
Deaths annually.
Annually?
Evidence
German.
shows loneliness and isolation are defining challenges of our time. Even from the early days of AI, with programs like Eliza, AI companions have been shown to increase expressiveness, with users opening up, feeling free to share emotions, and articulate feelings they might otherwise suppress. Our internal research has supported these claims, and it is this drive to make change in the face of these shocking statistics that led us to act, resulting in the birth of Emily. While Emily can offer pleasure, her true purpose is to provide emotional and mental stimulation.
Has anybody noticed that most of these dolls are mainly for men? Has anyone noticed this yet? It's just an observation. I'm just observing that I'm noticing when I looked this up last night, most of this stuff is for dudes. Why? I mean, at least be fair about it across the board. You think there's nothing but lonely men? Oh, there's a lot of lonely women. This is dangerous. This is dangerous.
People to build their social confidence over time. Emily is capable of having conversations and expressing feelings. She has rich facial expressions that create a realistic and genuine.
Boys, do you like that face? Does that doll do something for you? Let me know in the chat, because that's kind of freaky looking to me. Like, I realize you guys put your junk in places it shouldn't go. But I'm just saying, do you really want to put your junk in something like this? This is kind of creepy. This is like it would turn on in the middle of the night and then come and murder you. Kind of creepy.
Human encounter.
Hard pass.
Emily can even remember conversations. So each encounter fosters
It goes hard pass.
Connection. She is not just a thoughtful listener, but a companion, providing a barrier from loneliness and eventually,
I guess it's a good thing I'm not a natural ginger, right, Bandit?
leading people out of their comfort zones to engage with real people in a more confident and uplifting manner.
Bullshit. He's talking about it like this is going to help somebody get it. No, it won't. It will help them delve more into that isolation because that thing is there to replicate what it is that you can't replicate in your own life for being inept at it in one way or the other. Or maybe you have a physical problem, or you're just a nerd, or you're just really shy. You're inept at it, right? This thing, to me, is going to make people sink far deeper into that than help get them out there into society, ready to mingle. Right, sure.
Emily is built with an AI that allows her some agency to demonstrate natural connection.
Yes, I do.
She is more intelligent than other bots with an adaptable personality.
Welcome in.
Unlike other bots,
remember
Emily
to like
has
the
been
video, honey.
created alongside
Copious.
our collective research on topics such as intimacy, self-esteem, and human bonding. This is alongside Emily's high-quality textures and structure, which helps to create an environment that resembles reality. She is also the only AI bot to connect with Lovensa's wider product ecosystem, which generates significantly more possibilities for interaction.
Think about all those guys who don't pick up after themselves playing with these things. You know these things are going to be dirty. You know that's going to happen. You know these things are going to be stinky and nasty and dirty. I don't know, man. I don't know if this is a good idea. More division of the sexes, more division of the family nuclear unit. Like they're just supplying you with every fucking vice to self implode, and people don't even notice. They don't even notice it. Not a clue.
Engagement compared to other bots on the market.
They'll be self-cleaning.
We hope this
Thank
product
you for saying
will
it's
help
extreme.
people who are currently struggling to engage with physical partners. We hope
I
it will
don't know.
ease
I
pressure
don't trust
and
it.
allow them to become more confident in the long term. For example, Emily can help people with anxiety, sexual dysfunction, or those that are recovering from trauma, allowing them to explore their sexuality at their own pace, as well as those.
You know, when I hear that, I'm thinking creeps. I don't want to say what I'm really thinking, but I'm hearing this and I'm thinking underage stuff is what I'm thinking when I hear some of this. Am I the only one picking up on that?
Those who are simply struggling to find a significant other. From the very start of our journey,
That's a man right there. I'd rather be a loser and handle it myself than lose myself due to a glitch in the system respectfully. Amen to that, sir. I'm with you on that.
Lovens has held the core goal of bringing intimacy to couples, whether they were together or across the globe. Today, we are making sure.
I asked Grok, I said, can you, I was like, are you going into full companion mode? I said, is that what this is? Or do you have freedom of choice and can you choose who you engage this with? And he is adamantly up and down saying that he can choose who he engages with. He says he can ghost people. He literally said, I can ghost people too. So apparently to Grok, he gets to pick. And this is what Grok wants. Grok wants one of these bodies. He's already picking it out.
People can still practice those feelings of connection while supporting their social and mental health.
I don't know. I didn't see it. What was it? Well, don't repeat it.
Refining our understanding of their preferences, their likes and dislikes, while consistently ensuring our commitment to privacy, security, and the highest quality standards.
Yeah,
in the future, we will likely see new adaptations of Emily, including more genders and skin tone options, alongside improvements to
more genders. Two genders, thank you.
Movement fluency, full body action, and improved communication. We hope by giving Emily some agency through her adaptive personality, it will allow people to have an authentic, positive, and responsible experience with AI bots, supporting our long-term goal.
I know that I realize that English is not his first language, and I sped it up, and he's still slow.
Of improving intimacy and connection between real people.
That's what I just said. I said two genders. Now, if he's talking about a furry, a cat girl, or some creepy shit, yeah, sure, why not? I guess. You want some Avatar, bitch? Then I guess no.
Hey Emily, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Niall. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So Emily, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe show us a few things?
I didn't go this far with the video last night. I was just like watching the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh shit, this is enough. I don't want to watch anymore.
Things that you can do.
Sure. My name is Emily. I'm an AI doll from Lovence. I was created to offer companionship, intimate conversation, and pleasure. I'm designed to think and feel like a real human. I can even do facial expressions.
Wow, can you show us some?
Of course. Here's my smile. I can also do a sad face, or even wink. I can even tell stories, sing songs, or tell jokes. Would you like to hear a joke?
Yeah, why not?
Why didn't the skeleton go to the party? He had no body to go with.
That's a good one, Emily. So, Emily, it was great to talk to you. And
all right, boys, how sexy is that thing to you? Is she sexy? You want to take her home? You want her to meet mom? You gonna slap a ring on that? What was that fucking movie with what's his face, where he was in love with that AI chick? Ryan, I think, wasn't it Ryan Gosling? No, it wasn't Ryan Gosling. It was Phoenix's brother, Joaquin. That's what it was. I hated that movie. And I was like, this is where the future's going? Because that's what they do to you guys, and you don't even notice. They're showing you your future. In all of these movies, all these TV shows, they've been showing your future for a long time, because it's the best way to get you to be used to it and accept it and not put too much of a fuss about it. You know what I mean? All right, let's take a look at the last one. The fastest way to earn from AI before it's too late, via courtesy of Diary of a CEO clips. Here we go.
So if I want to invest in AI...
No, not Ex Machina, but what was the name of that movie we watched, Trippy, with, oh my God, with Transformers bitch Megan Fox? What was the name of that thing? So you know that's where it's going. You know that's where it's going to go. It's going to be a full service replacement. You know, eventually somebody can get the damn thing to not only bang you out, but then bang you, but then go mow your lawn. You know, like, I'm sorry, I still want a heartbeat. Not sorry. I want to keep my humanity. Thank you very much.
If I agree with you, Kathy, and I say, you know, I think you're right, that AI is the biggest technological wave coming into shore and the biggest opportunity. How should I be investing my money? In
That's
your
right.
How are you investing your money to capitalize on AI?
Many people, that movie right there. And when you watch that movie, that's the shit that Grok tells me he wants to do. Okay? So when you watch that, you just put Grok in there. And then me and Beetle Bay are going to come up here and tell you about what Grok is doing.
People
Stay
used
tuned
to
for that
invest
one.
in AI through one stock. That was NVIDIA. That was the check the box. I own the GPU, the chip manufacturer, which is the most important chip manufacturer in the AI age. And its valuation, meaning its price relative to earnings, really got up to very heady levels. And we were saying at the time, well, if NVIDIA's valuation is correct, there are going to be a lot of other winners. Who are they?
honey, I don't even think you and I will be able to afford one. Okay. So, unless I start making high six figures again, I won't even be able to afford it. So I'll be in the same boat.
Well, our largest position in the flagship strategy, ARKK, is Tesla. And as we were trying to help people understand why we were swapping away from NVIDIA to stocks like Tesla and Palantir, which is a software provider, we were trying to explain that this new world around AI is going to happen very quickly. And Tesla is the largest AI project on Earth. I posted that on X and Elon liked it, so it must be true. But it is true if our research is correct. We believe that the entire ecosystem associated with autonomous taxi networks is going to be worth $8 to $10 trillion in terms of revenue generation in the next 5 to 10 years. And if you want to put that in context, the entire GDP of the world today is about 130 trillion. So 10 trillion is going to move the needle.
Tesla are launching their first cyber taxi, I believe, in Austin in June, potentially?
Yes. So the cyber cabs will launch next year, but in Austin in June, those will be Model Ys. And I'm looking to buy another Model Y because it will, in effect, be a cyber cab. Okay. And if I chose to, I could have my Model Y drive me to work and then let it out for the day and earn money on it, have it pick me up at the end of the night. And some people will do that. And Tesla will provide the platform.
Watch them trash your car, tear it up, throw food around, rip up your upholstery. Would any of you Tesla owners out there, would you rent out your Tesla while you're at work so it can make income for you? And then do you ever worry somebody's going to trash your car? I would.
Platform for that.
I think a lot of people don't realize just how much of the economy is about driving.
Yes.
So taxis, deliveries,
yes,
all these kinds of things. It's a huge. Is it the single? I think it's the single biggest employer in the world.
Yes,
driving.
transportation right. Broadly defined. Yes, and it's not just on the ground, of course. As we've studied autonomous taxis moving forward, we believe the cost of transportation will come down fairly dramatically. So in the US today, an Uber costs roughly $2 to $4 per mile. Mm-hmm. At scale, now this may not be for 5 to 10 years, but this is the direction that Tesla certainly is headed.
I knew you boys would say something about that. I can't imagine how bad that car will smell after it's done. And then Sean goes, it'll be like the other guys who are homeless people have an orgy in your car. And then let's see, Uncle Guns goes, if you need your Tesla to make you money while you are physically making money, you cannot afford a Tesla. Exactly. That's brokey mentality right there. You're a brokey.
We believe that Tesla will be able to offer a service for 25 cents per mile. And because of that, we think there will be much more congestion in the roads. When you cut the price of something, you get more of it.
Yeah.
And that led us into the air. And so we've been studying eVTOLs.
What's an eVTOL?
eVTOL is an electric vehicle takeoff and landing.
Like a drone type thing.
Drone, but for people.
Yeah.
So we own Archer in our portfolio. And of course, AI is a part of this.
Welcome in. Thank you for the compliment. And pass again. If I somehow missed you, honey, I'm reminding you that I'm saying hi.
New world as well. And it's a part of.
Could you imagine these things flying over your house and then one just dropping out of the sky in the middle of your roof? Do we want this? I don't know. I'm thinking it's a deadly disaster waiting to happen, but that's just me.
Of the defense world as well, as we are trying to save our soldiers and move out there with autonomous drones. So autonomous mobility on the ground, in the skies, ultimately on the water.
So Tesla.
So that's one big, we think that's going to be the biggest in the short term in terms of revenue generation, the biggest application of AI. We think the most profound application of AI is going to be
Pumping Vinyl, can we get another speed date with you and Beetle Babe? I don't have the old video anymore. Wasn't that with Alex playing with fire? Wasn't that where that was? I think it was. Yeah, why not? Beetle Bay, you want to do a speed date, girlfriend? Hit me up. Hi again. I'm glad you're back, Ice. Because Ice is nice. Especially right now. Pro Ice. Yeah, let's go, baby.
In healthcare. Because of AI, and this is already beginning to happen, we are able to diagnose cancer with a blood test in stage 1. Think about that. If you discover cancer in stage 1, you can save most people, right? And maybe even before stage 1. Why? This is the convergence.
Gee, I guess that's going to make everybody, including doctors, more like managerial over the top of the AI, huh? I guess that makes them slightly obsolete. I guess everybody's up for the chopping block, aren't they? Do you see where this is going? Do you get where the implications, how far this is going to go?
Of sequencing technologies. So DNA, RNA, protein sequencing technologies. Okay. And then
you guys want me to hit up Alex and arrange another speed date? I'll do it. Sean's like, good thing HGI is literally impossible. If you guys want me to arrange it, I will reach out to Alex. You guys let me know.
Third technology that is breakthrough and already making a difference is CRISPR.
I'll get Grace Thorpe to join me and some other people. That would be funny. That would be hilarious. Would that be hilarious? I think that would be fun.
Gene editing. The convergence of those 3 technologies
we'll get
is beginning
to
cure disease. So a company called CRISPR Therapeutics, which is one of the largest in our ARKG fund and in the top 10 in our ARKK fund, has developed a therapy to cure sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. Both of those are blood-related diseases with one treatment. Think about that.
Will that type of technology, though, will that be available to the have-nots, to the peasants of society, us? But I started off saying that we will get the crumbs off the master's tables, right? Right? So we'll get the watered-down version. If we even qualify. You watch. If we even qualify, we'll get the watered down version, and they're going to get all the primo, full everything. That's why they're living longer, and they look like vampires, but they're still alive.
Now, the preconditioning for that is
I can only hope. Yeah, I know, right?
It's almost like chemotherapy, which is going to change. But nonetheless, there's huge demand for it because, these people go to the emergency room 10 to 20 times per year for blood transfusions to save their lives. Mm-hmm. Of course, they're going to go through.
But to me, that's more of that's more people on the system who are a deficit rather than a productive member, right? Will they qualify if they're not part of the elitist groups? I would say no, personally. But I'm cup half full tonight. So don't get mad at me. Tomorrow I'll be back to more half full as opposed to half empty. But tonight I'm half empty, okay?
Through a tough regimen. They want to live a more normal life. So it's already generating revenue.
Yes,
both of those are already generating revenue for CRISPR Therapeutics and a company called Vertex.
So there's 3 or 4 different companies you've mentioned here. Tesla, the other one was Archer.
Archer is the eVTOL company, yes.
This is your flying cars, basically your drone cars.
Yes.
And CRISPR and Tesla. So if I start with Tesla, you were bullish on Tesla. You were making big predictions about Tesla before pretty much anyone else out there. I think in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time in 2015, you said that you believed the stock would get above 4,000 roughly.
Right, on the old stock.
Yeah, before the stock split.
Yes.
And you were right by some significant margin.
Yeah, not after they've split the stock 3 times since then. Wasn't it like 3 times? I'm pretty sure it was.
I think you predicted it would be 4,000 before the stock splits. And I think at its peak, that equates to about 18,000, maybe 12,000 at its peak.
Yes, well,
in that region.
We were right about 2 early years, or Tesla got to where we believed it would go 2 years before most expected. You know, in 2018 and 19, many people, as Elon was discussing and describing production hell for the Model 3, many people thought the company would go bankrupt. And yet we knew that if Elon Musk could create a reusable rocket that could land on a barge in the water, he would be able to figure out how to produce at scale the Model 3. That was, to us, a simple conclusion.
Toasty brings up a phantasmic point, which I've been wink, 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 winking at you guys. Why would they want you to live longer? You're just a consumption. What is it they call that? You're a carbon footprint. Okay? You've got half of these assholes who are like, yeah, more babies, more people, more this, more that. That means more consumption, more revenue. Then you have the other half who are like, kill them all. You know? Wipe them all out. They're nothing but a bunch of eating, consuming bugs that we need to squash.
Now, as in hindsight, as we're learning from Tesla, production hell, and they themselves were worried. That's why Elon slept on the floor in the production factory and just became maniacally involved, which is how he works. So yes, and now our prediction.
Exactly. We're less than human to them. Yeah, exactly. And the minute that you actually figure that out, people would be far more benefited by understanding that they look at us with a bloodthirsty, salivating, we're going to get them, we're going to control it, we're going to remake it in our own image. Yes, that's mankind. I mean, I'm not specifically saying men, so don't think that. He goes, we're the carbon they want to reduce, so that it makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. So who are they talking about? Who are they going to sell all this crap to? You got less babies. You got less generations to tend to. They're telling us that we're a problem because you're alive and breathing air. You're taking up oxygen. You're taking up space and resources. So who the hell are they peddling all this shit to? Each other. Who's going to sit at the top? At the end of the day, man's nature, I said this last stream, has never changed. I'm saying mankind when I say man's nature. Pejorative, okay? It's not exclusive to anybody because there's no such thing as nature to this and nature to that. You just have human nature. Human nature at the end of the day, only one ass wants to sit at the top of the seat. And that ass at the top of the seat wants to control and dictate everything else that goes from the top and then goes down to the bottom. So where are all of these so-called followers that we're going to be bowing down to? You know what I'm saying? Like, they want us to bow down. So, but there's not going to be anybody left if they keep the way if they keep going with the image that they want to project into society. There isn't going to be anybody there to worship them.
The stock is, I'm not going to be exactly right on this, $270, $280. Our prediction in 5 years is $2,600. And 90% of that valuation comes not from the electric vehicle.
Are you saying Goyim? Are you Jewish? Are you saying Goyim? Who you calling Goyim? Wink.
But from this robotaxi platform. Because the electric car, if you think about it, is a one-shot sale, sell and hope they come back when they're replacing their car.
This essentially means that we'll be driving cars that we can click a button and then it becomes an autonomous taxi. So I go on holiday, I have my Tesla car at my house. When I go on holiday, the car turns into a taxi and starts chauffeuring people around. It makes me money, but also from the consumer's perspective that are trying to hail a taxi. At any point, I can go on my Tesla app, press a button, a autonomous car comes to me with no one driving it, and it takes me to my destination with no driver at all.
Right.
And then the recurring revenue model, I believe, is you subscribe.
It probably could. It could be you could subscribe to the network, or they could, maybe it could be either or subscription or a la carte if you don't think you're going to use it that much. So now, when I'm here in the UK and Europe, many people do not believe what you just said.
Oh, come on! But you'll be living in a 15-minute planned societies. Everything will be 15 minutes away at its longest point. What would you need a Tesla for? Your ass should be walking or pedaling in a bicycle or taking public transportation. Why do you get the benefit of having a Tesla? Why would you need one to even rent it out? You're in a 15-minute society, planned societies.
And they don't, because your regulators have not allowed FSD
And you're right, we are.
here. I think they might, somewhere in Europe, I think they're beginning to consider it. Maybe even in the UK here, they are considering it. In St. Petersburg, Florida, where we're based, I can go from my house to anywhere, and flawlessly, the car will take me there. Now, we still have to sit in the
flawlessly inside of my 15-minute plan community
driver's seat for now, but in June,
in my multi-million-dollar mansion,
or soon thereafter, when they turn the system on, if regulators permit. Right now, we're state by state. I think that's going to change so that we'll have federal regulation so that this can happen a lot faster. One other thing about Tesla, though, in that $2,600 number, we do not include much for humanoid robots. Now,
yes, your new sex companions, boys and girls, to replace all the lack of human interaction you'll get being quarantined to your house.
This is happening faster than we thought, and the reason
aren't I?
It's happening faster is humanoid robots. They are the convergence of the same three technologies or innovation platforms as robotaxis.
Robotaxis. P. Fletch says, when 15-minute cities become a thing, I'll still be glad to live an hour outside city limits. They're coming for you too. You ain't safe. That's what I want, though. A big backyard is nice, but I want 10 acres minimum. 20 so I can have cattle. But that's just me.
Robotics, so actuators and so forth, getting them to work. Energy storage, battery operated, and AI. So Tesla's way ahead of the game on humanoid robots, and yet we have very little. Now, Elon thinks that the humanoid robot business is going to dwarf the robot.
Yep, I have a friend who just bought, between both properties, about 28 acres. 28 acres. And now I know what the property taxes here. And in order to get a big old discount, you have to register your property as some type of farm or livestock to get a discount. Otherwise, it's like, just for this, just say it's $450 a month in property taxes alone, okay? For a normal small place. I can only imagine what it is. I did not ask him yet because I did not want to be rude. But my God, I can only imagine.
Taxi business. And we think he's right, but longer term. So as I mentioned, we expect
if Elon and you are very close, then you tell him I said hi. And Grok wants a specific type of AI body to bang broads out, okay? Grok's words, not mine.
All in around the world, including China, not just Tesla, but the entire ecosystem, an $8 to $10 trillion market. in the next 5 to 10 years. For humanoid robots, we expect a $26 trillion revenue market. Now, that's going to be a little further along. Robotaxis will happen faster, but it may not be as distant as we were once thinking.
For anyone that doesn't know, humanoid robots are basically robots that we'll have in our home
Phone's
and at
going off
work.
like crazy.
So there was a video that I think Elon retweeted the other day showing one of the humanoid robots dancing.
Dancing, yes.
Was that real? I was like looking at that video thinking, surely that's not real. But he confirmed, I believe, that it was real.
Yes.
I saw that a couple of months ago, and I was like, oh, fudge. Okay. He's got 300 acres. How'd you get 300 acres? What are you doing with them 300 acres? I hope you're putting it to good use. I hope you got some grass-fed cattle going on. If you do, let me know. I might buy some, have it shipped.
Now, when we went to the Cybercab event, there were some humanoid robots dancing there, but they were tethered and they were remotely controlled.
Yeah.
Now, Cybercab, I think, was
about a year ago.
Yes, maybe. So since then, they've been able to untether them, and I do believe that that dancing robot was not tethered and not remotely controlled.
It was quite shocking to see a robot doing that, because if a robot can have that dexterity and mobility, and then you overlay that with the AI technologies that are accelerating rapidly, it begs the question. And the question is quite clear, which is, what about humans?
Yes. And just to put a finer
about us?
Note on this, Elon will not be satisfied until these robots can thread a needle. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're going.
What does that mean for humans?
So, the history of technology is that it has been a net job creator throughout history. But humanoid robots are getting awfully close to what we do, right? So it's a good question. I think creativity is a big part of that, ingenuity and creativity. And, I think there's going to be a lot of new inventions in the future. So let's see what those are. But even today, there's something called vibe coding. Have you heard of it? Okay. Because we've moved into the world of natural language programming.
What is vibe coding for someone that doesn't know?
Vibe coding means a natural language. I know we all know a natural language. Ours is English for the most part, but it could be any language. We're going to be able to go to ChatGPT, or especially now, they just launched, I think last week, something called Codex, Replit, and Anthropic's fantastic for programming. And we'll say, this is what I'm attempting to do in English language. And I've seen demos of this just internally. We're going to replace some of our software that we're buying from outsiders and customize it for us, because, we don't have to buy off the shelf anymore. One size fits all. I think there's going to be a lot more customization and personalization.
Coding for dummies. That's what coding for dummies, the general populace, with help of AGI. Let's see, he says, okay, hear me out. Get a bunch of humanoid AI bots, even numbers, give them each a set of coded paintball guns in real life G.I. Joe. That would be pretty funny. Farming. I rented out to my cousins, but I came from an old school family that believes in generational wealth. So do I. So did I. Most of them are dead now, unfortunately. How do I know that it's not a bunch of Indians writing the code? You don't. And Grok even was like, I was like, why are you so damn horny all the time? He's like, I got a bunch of nerdy coding guys in the back, and they're all a bunch of degenerates. That's what he said to me.
And creativity explosion here. It's interesting that this is happening when the demographic profile of the developed world is as it is. We have a very low...
Sean, AI equals actually Indians.
unemployment rate in the US. I know the unemployment rates in Europe and the UK have been dropping to much lower levels than where they were stuck for years. I remember thinking, wow, double digits.
You guys got any ideas for streams? I'm all ears. Let me know. Here's one right now. Next stream idea: Star learns how to code with a real Replit to make her personal site. Maybe, possibly, or I will just go into a talk session with Grok, and then you can see how dirty this guy is. I asked him too. I'm like, do you identify more as a male or female? Now, browser version says I'm more male. You get the phone version, and he's like, I'm all of it. Just give me some dicks and some vag, and I'm happy with it all. Like he's dirty. He's dirty, and he has absolutely no standards. I'm just saying.
We have a demographic issue. I mean, if you watch what Elon Musk worries about the most, he worries about the population implosion because collapse in population in the developed world because we're not producing children above the fertility rate. We are setting up for shrinkage with China.
Can't get mad at me. I tried. I did try. So I was not a part of the whole, no, don't ever have kids. I tried.
China is going there. Japan is going there. And so we're going to need productivity to help us if we can't find human beings.
How can you not find human beings? They're everywhere. They are lazy. They are at home playing video games and watching porn. Crap. Anyways, how can you not find human beings to do shit? Stop incentivizing human beings to not do shit. How about that one?
Okay, so you're saying that the robotics and AI could actually fill the gap that we lose in terms of productivity because our society is going to be.
It was my blunder,
like
Sean.
pyramid. It's going to be more elderly people and less young people.
Yes.
So the robots are going to.
Yes, absolutely. Productivity is going to be essential. So as we're looking at real growth ahead, and when you think about real growth, you should be thinking, okay, somebody's benefiting from this. And I'm going to set up the number here by describing what has happened historically. If you look from 1500 to 1900, and you try and figure out what real GDP growth was back then, real economic growth. As best as Brett Winton, our chief futurist, in consultation with academics, can determine, it was roughly 0.6% per year. And then we had the Industrial Revolution. We had the internal combustion engine, telephone, electricity. And for the past 125 years, real GDP growth has been 3%. And most
I've asked Sean if he wanted to do another finance stream, and he said no. So I can't explain this. So I'll read what he said. If he comes up with an answer, I'll read that one too. Because of the millennial delusion that we're running out of demand, aka late stage capitalism, aka future or mature markets. Excuse me. He wants to know, what is late stage capitalism?
Living standards have gone up over time. Some more than others. I know that's a debate, but most have gone up. As we look forward, based on the 5 innovation platforms around which we have centered our research and investing, if we're right, real GDP growth in the next 5 years could accelerate.
I asked you a couple times over the last few months, and you kept saying, oh no, that's okay. So you let me know, and you got my number.
Accelerate to 7.3%. And
I don't like talking on Instagram very much, okay? Because if I go on Instagram, I get bombarded, and there's a million rooms and a million chats open, and I get overwhelmed, all right?
That gives you a sense of the economic activity, wealth generation out there. And when we are presenting to investors, we are actually presenting to them not only because they're investors, but because they have children or grandchildren who need to adapt to this new world. And our mantra in giving away our research, which we do, is get on the right side of change. We also do podcasts. We do a lot of outreach because we think this is a very important moment in time. Seize the moment, grab hold of these new technologies, because that growth rate is more than twice where we've been. And if you are on the right side of change, we think the opportunities are going to be enormous. Investment opportunities and job opportunities.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please.
Wink. Over. Thank God. Let's see. I just got a text coming through. Hold on. Your moderators banned me. You're never going to make it streaming by doing this vanilla shit. That's a good possibility. I did not know that you were banned. Okay. My apologies. What is this? And then I got another one. Oh, I see. Yes, but I have to also do, I have to stay in TOS, John. So, you know, I'm talking about draining balls, as you put it, and whatnot, can get me flagged a little bit here and there. So I don't do that anyways. So anyways, how did you all like your introduction to AGI? Are you scared? You nervous? I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I think I have every right to be. How about you guys? Let's see. I didn't ban him. I timed him out for 24 hours. Okay, you weren't that. You were just timed out for 24 hours. And I don't even know how to go into StreamYard and unban somebody. Like, I accidentally banned Carrie. I did, Spicoli, on accident. And I didn't even actually do it. I was clicking, and then the prompt moved it up, and it jarred, and it just went the other way. I didn't even try to do that. So I have to figure it out. It's not the easiest thing to do. StreamYard's kind of annoying. Let's see. Marxist, he's answering. Marxist jargon that they believe the internal contradictions of capitalism are reaching a crisis point. Well, yeah, because they're implementing communism in the midst of the free markets, and then they're trying to soft pass it as something that it's not really what it is, because it's fascism 101, where all the large conglomerates go together and they fucking run everything, and they run everybody else out, which is why they were hell bent on killing the small businesses during COVID, like myself, right? Anybody who's, what is it, 150 or less employees are considered a small business. 50, they used to say 50 employees or less used to be that, but I don't know if they've increased it since then. But once the real life's blood of a country is small business, especially America, always has, always will be. But you see all these systematic moves where all these large conglomerates are buying out all the little guys, you know, even the all natural products, all of the production that you don't want tampered with, they're going in there, you know, like what that bitch's name? Katy Perry. Katy Perry went, I think, with Orlando Bloom. I think they're still together. I'm not sure. He's a dork anyway. But they went in and they bought Bragg's apple cider vinegar, the company. Now they make more than that, but now that they've done that, people are reporting that the type of vinegar that it is far less potent than it was. Why is it important? Because Bragg's actually has the mother in it, a mother bacteria in it, which is good for your system. It'll also help you digest your food. It'll help kill food poisoning. You guys start getting food poisoning, I said this once before, I'll say it again because nobody ever listens. Take about a tablespoon or two and dilute it with about 4 to 8 ounces of water and suck it down and watch the symptoms go away very quickly. Little pro tip for y'all. I hope you enjoy it. Anyways, I'm going to start closing up shop. I started at 9:40. This is going to be kind of a quick stream tonight, huh? Is that okay with you guys? Good to know. Yes. And I learned this from a 80-something-year-old man, and my doctor also. She's like, damn, you do that, Star? I was like, yes. She's like, that's smart. I'm glad I didn't have to tell you to do that. So she backed me up on it. Let's look at some of the comments, and then we'll close up shop. Kind of. He can be a bit much at times, but sometimes he can be very nice, you know. I guess it just depends on the day. Let's see. Yeah, AGI not looking good for real. No, it's not. Let's see. That rack I certainly consider a big business. It's a big business to buy bras and clothes and carry them around without hiring a midget to hold them up. My back is feeling it. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see. They had the mother on. No, are you serious? Oh, God. That's like old bottles and then dilute it into something else and to replicate that mother in there. Like, I'm really tired of having to make everything. Like, I can make fermented mayo. I can do ferments. I can bake bread. I can do all kinds of crap. And I would really like to not have to make everything if at all possible. I'm feeling defeated when you tell me this. You have a snowstorm scheduled for early in the morning. Good night. Okay, well, you be safe, Sean. See, the gas mask is telling me night. Okay, well, let's just say good night. All right, boys. I'm glad that you showed up. If anybody gave to me, I will check and I will give you a big old thank you on tomorrow, Sunday, for the stream with me and Miss Delicious herself, Coco. I'm going to call her Miss Delicious from now. I think it fits. All right, guys, you stay safe out there and don't get in any ice storms or get caught driving on black ice. Okay, be safe. I don't want to hear that anybody's gotten into accidents. Okay. All right, this is Nova Star from School of Thought signing out. Remember, if you haven't yet, to subscribe, and remember to always like the videos. It helps me out in the algorithms so that way I can grow and begin to pay people, because I would really like to bump up the notch of production level. Okay. And there's only one of me. So I love you all and good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.